Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we continue with chapter 8, pollution prevention and control. We continue with the second subtitle, which is solid waste management. Okay, part 2, solid waste management. So previously we already learned about part 1, cleaner production. So I think this is a very short subchapter for solid waste management topics. Okay, we go straight forward to the definition. Okay, according to the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Act 2007, what is solid waste? So it is actually any scrap material or unwanted surplus substances or rejected products arising from the application of any process or any substance required to be disposed of because it is broken, worn out, contaminated, or otherwise spoiled, or any other material that is required by the authorities to be disposed. Generally, solid waste can be categorized as, the first one is waste generated from daily household activity. So we generated it every day, okay, from our activity. And then the second one is garden waste, and the third one is bulk waste. Bulk waste is, for example, if you have a broken furniture, a big waste, for example, cupboard, table, anything that is bulk. Okay, so it's considered as a bulk waste. And then number 4 is industrial, commercial, and institutional waste. Is considered as a solid waste. For the waste that is not hazardous waste. Okay, for the waste that considered as hazardous waste, it will be classified as hazardous waste, and otherwise it will be classified as solid waste, even though it is produced from the industrial or commercial. Okay. Okay, this is the things that I said just now. For example, the garden waste. This is the garden waste. This is the bulk waste. This is the example of bulk waste. This is a food waste. Okay, this is an organic waste. Actually, it can be composted. Okay, rather than being disposed. So this is the picture that were taken when. A few years back ago, I brought my students to a site visit at Bukit Taga Sanitary Landfill. So this is actually what happened in the landfill. This is the hauling from a transfer station. So that's why the shape is like this. Okay, it's not like a usual normal apa ni, normal tractor yang datang rumah kita setiap hari collect sampah, but this is already sorted rubbish. Okay, and then they sent to this landfill. Okay, the first topic is solid waste generation. The second topic is solid waste generation. So developed country generate much higher quantity of waste per capita compared to less developed country. Why? Because they have more population than less developed, and because they are developed, so they tends to use more packaging and something like that. Okay, so in Malaysia, the available information on solid waste management is quite limited. Because we are a big country, so to conduct a study for the whole country is quite impossible. So what we are doing now is we base on the state. Okay, so this state are doing their survey, this state, but not all state has the survey regarding the solid waste generation. Okay, 3 major inadequacies in solid waste management, such as improper manner of disposal. Of course, we admit this. Okay, we still lacking awareness among our citizens. Okay, insufficient coverage of collection system. Okay, this happened to some some areas in Malaysia because our solid waste management depends on local authorities. So different local authorities has different practice. Okay. Inefficient collection methods. Okay, this one also refer back to the local authorities system. Okay, sometimes some parts or some area they have a high dense populations, so sometimes the local authorities the rate, okay, for collection is normal, is same as the low dense population punya area. So that this is why the inefficient collection methods problem arise. Okay, knowledge of the source along with the characteristic of waste is starting point in the design and operation of solid waste management. So that is why we need to learn about solid waste. Okay, solid waste management. So we need to design, we need to strategize, okay, how we are going to manage our solid waste. So that's why you as environmental technologists, you need to adopt this knowledge, okay, for in the future. If you work with the PBT, you are the one who will design the solid waste management system in that particular area. About the sources and types of solid waste, actually we can classify it into different sources. The first one is residential. You can read by yourself the details about the sources for each types. The first one is sources, residential sources. So the type is such as food waste, paper, plastic, cardboard, aluminium, and so on. It's a general waste. And then the second one is commercial, for example shops, restaurants, so on. The types more on paper, cardboard, plastic, and also have food waste and metals. So it depends on what types of business they are doing. Okay, and then institutional, for example such as school, hospital, universities. So the types is paper, plastic, cardboard, and so on. Construction and demolition, for example from the new construction site, the type is wood, steel, concrete, dirt, pipes, and all about the construction materials. Then municipal services such as street cleaning, landscaping, recreation area. The types of solid waste is rubbish, dirt, tree trimmings, garden waste, and so on. Okay, and then the treatment plant side. Okay, treatment plants also produce solid waste as long as it's not considered as hazardous waste, so it is classified as solid waste. So for example, sludge from water, wastewater, industrial processes, municipal incinerators. So the type is mainly residual sludge. Okay, but make sure that you test your sludge first based on the hazardous waste. So if not categorized as hazardous waste, so it considered as a solid waste and can be disposed as a normal solid waste. And then from industrial such as fabrication, light and heavy industry, the types is industrial process waste, scrap material. Same goes as the treatment plant side. Just now what I say, this industrial producing a hazardous waste, so as long as it's not considered as hazardous waste, so it can be classified as a solid waste. And then the last one is agricultural, is any agricultural waste, food waste, and so on. Okay, overview of solid waste management. So this is the definition by the textbook. So it is a discipline which relates to the control of generation, storage, collection, transfer and transport, processing and disposal of solid waste in a manner that it is accordance with the best principle of public health, economics, engineering, conservation, aesthetics, and other environmental considerations, and that is also responsive to public attitudes. So very long definition, but it is a very precise and holistic definition. Okay, so as you see in the definition, they stated there the elements that need to be conducted in managing the solid waste. Okay, the key players in setting the policy, strategies, and implementation of solid waste management. The first one is of course our federal government. So the budget we get from the EPU, and then the DOE as the enforcer, and then Ministry of Health. Okay, and then go down to the state government, and the state government go down to local authority. That's why the local authority is given the area of their enforcement. So you can see that different areas managing their solid waste differently. Okay, for example, your hometown is in Selangor or Kuala Lumpur, you can differentiate, okay, the system with Kuala Nerus in UMT now here. So that's why the system is different, because the power to manage the solid waste is under the local authority, ataupun in Malay is pusat pihak berkuasa tempatan. For example, in Kuala Nerus is under MBKT, Majlis Bandaraya Kuala Terengganu. For example, if you stay in Serdang, the local authority is MPSJ, Majlis Pembandaran Subanjaya. Okay, so something like that lah. Okay, if you see at this flow chart or framework, this is the functional element that have been stated in the solid waste management system definition. So basically, waste is originated, and after origin, the waste will be handling, separation, storage and processing at site, and then after that, there will be a truck or lorry to come for the collection of our solid waste. And after the collection, there will be two paths. One, they will go to the transfer and transport, and the other path is for separation and processing and transformation of solid waste. And there is the third path, which is from the collection direct to the disposal. Okay, for the less dense populated area, the collection will be directed to disposal. But for dense populated area, for example in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, they must go to the transfer, transport or separation and processing of solid waste before the waste will be disposed. Okay, this is to reduce the volume of the solid waste to be transported to the disposal site. Okay, this is the hierarchy of solid waste management. This hierarchy is one of the element in integrated solid waste management, because we cannot dispose all of our solid waste. Some of the solid waste can be reused, some of the solid waste can be recycled, and some of them can be used for resource recovery, to produce another beneficial products. So integrated solid waste management is the term that can be used to define the selection of suitable application to achieve specific waste management objective and goals. So if we have a look at this management hierarchy, it is the upside down triangle. So if you see the bottom point is a landfilling method. So it means that we want to try our best to reduce the volume of solid waste to go to the landfill. And then if you go to the upper part, the top part, the most preferred management is a source reduction. So meaning that the source must be reduced at the production stage. And then it's going down. The second option is reuse, then recycling, then resource recovery, and then incineration, and landfilling is the last, or we call it as a least preferred method in solid waste management hierarchy. Okay, this is the definition for each element in integrated solid waste management. Okay, the first one, what is source reduction? Source reduction is reducing the amount or toxicity of the waste that is being generated. Design stage, manufacture and packaging of the product with minimum toxic content and utilizing minimum volume of material. Okay, I can give you one example. If you go to Mydane and then you buy fabric softener such as Softland. I know all of you know about the brand, right? Okay, if you go, there is improvement or innovation of their packaging system. Okay, one product in a bottle and the other one is inside a plastic but in a small capacity. So in that plastic is the concentrated softener, so meaning that they have reduced about three quarter of the packaging volume by make a concentrated of the softener. So but when the consumer want to use it, they have to dilute it with water. So this is one of the concept of source reduction that has been applied. Okay, and then the most effective way to reduce waste in terms of quantity and cost associated with handling. I agree with this. Source reduction is the efficient way in reducing the solid waste volume, but in Malaysia we still lacking the awareness among the citizens. Okay, so that's why our role is to educate the people, okay, to have more source reduction at the source rather than to do source reduction afterwards. Okay, what is reuse? Okay, for example, reuse mean you use back the container or the packaging. So for example, using empty drums to store new material instead of buying them in new drums. So I know all of us do this many times. Okay, selling or transferring waste from one premises to another to be used as raw material. Okay, and then recycling, we transform things into a new things. Okay, for example, plastic and papers, and I know all of you know about this. So this is the example. All newspaper can be recycled to make newspaper, cellulose insulation, tissue product, and construction material like wallboard. Okay, number 4 is resource recovery. So what is this? This is the method that involves the physical, chemical, and biological alteration of waste. The transformation of waste material can be an attractive option as it significantly reduces the amount of the waste, and at the same time, it can also recover useful energy in the form of steam or electricity. Okay, actually, my research background is based on this resource recovery option. So I give you an example of what my final year student has done in previous year for their PITA. Okay, we use an organic waste, okay, such as a fruit waste, vegetable waste that is abundantly available in the market. Okay, we use that, and then we use a fermentation method to produce enzyme. So this enzyme can be used in the wastewater treatment system, and sometimes people also use it for fertilizer, because in this enzyme it contains effective microorganism. Okay, and then the other example is another example is I use oil waste. Okay, oil from the cooking activity. The waste I use as a waste in anaerobic system. Okay, in anaerobic system, oil and grease in oil is one of the elements that can use to transform the waste into a biogas. Okay, but there are some uncertainty in the process, so that's why my research is focusing on what is the method to reduce the inhibition that produced by the anaerobic digestion of this oil lipid waste. Okay, and then number 5 is incineration, waste treatment. So this is thermal treatment. Okay, thermal means you must use a high temperature, okay, to burn the waste. Usually occurred in a furnace, and the temperature is with 1200 to 1500, okay, degrees Celsius. Okay, so through incineration, the volume of solid waste will be greatly reduced. Okay, it will reduce to become ash. Okay, but there are some byproduct, which is the ash, and for the incinerator system, they must install air pollution system, for example scrubber and anything, and something and many more types of the air pollution trap, okay, or treatment system. Okay, incineration could be considered as a disposal option when land is scarce and the waste is highly combustible. Okay, for example, Singapore, they use lots of incinerator because they have a scarcity in their land. Okay, if you want to know how incineration facility system operated, so this is the schematic of typical waste incineration facility. So we can see that from waste storage, they must undergo feed preparation first. It means that not all types of solid waste can be used for incineration system. Okay, so during feed preparation, they will convert the waste into homogenized size. Then they will go to the combustion. Okay, so this is where the combustions take place. The high temperature of the system, and then as what I say in previous slide, from the incineration system, the byproduct is ash. So after ash, they must handle the ash. So might be the disposal of the ash is sending to landfill. Okay, after the combustion, they must they undergo the gas temperature reduction, and then they recover the heat, and here is where they must install the air pollution control. Okay, and then during the air pollution control, this is the scrubber water or ash handling. Okay, from the ash pollution control, and then there will be the fan, the emission stack to produce the what we can call the air. Okay, the waste air from the incineration facility. Okay, and then okay, so this is the landfill, the cross section of a typical landfill. It involves the controlled disposal of waste in earth mantle. Okay, meaning that there will be pit like this. Okay, so we must use a pit like this, and then before we can dump our waste, the site must be installed with a liner. Normally we call it as a geotextile membrane. This membrane is non-permeable liner. Okay, so meaning that the water cannot go through, so it will not polluted the groundwater. Okay, so after, and then we install the gas recovery system and then the leachate treatment system, because after we dump the waste, there will be liquid collected at the bottom of the area, and then we call the liquid as a leachate. Okay, so the leachate will be collected to be treated before disposed to the river, and then during the decomposition of the waste, there will be gas produced, which is a methane gas. So this is the recovery system for methane gas. Okay, we must install the recovery system for methane gas, otherwise the methane gas is flammable, so it will burn the site. Okay, this is the groundwater monitoring system. Okay, here is to check whether the groundwater is polluted or not. If polluted, meaning that our liner have a problem. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, this chapter is very short and sweet. So thank you for your commitment today. So see you in next subchapter, which is our last part. Okay, hazardous waste management. Thank you, class.